I'll now call on the chairman of the supervisory committee to give us a credential report. All right, thank you. At 2:17 p.m., there are 60 members present. So we are constituted to have our SGM, which requires 50 persons to be here physically at the meeting. So can we all stand for the playing of the national anthem? Thank you. Can we remain standing as we say the Credit Union prayer? Direct, we beseech thee, O Lord, our action by thy holy inspiration, and carry them on by thy gracious assistance, that every prayer and work of ours may begin always through and through thee, and be happily ended through Christ our Lord. Amen. Please be standing, keep standing. Right, I just want to have a moment of silence for all who have gone before, since AGM until now. All right, thank you very much. You may have your seat. I want to welcome you again to our SGM. This is our first physical SGM since 2019. Right, that was the last time we had a physical SGM. Right, so we are grateful that you can be in attendance. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Remind you that we are streaming. It is not a hybrid meeting, right? On those who are streaming can ask questions via the chat, but not to participate directly into the meeting. So at this time, I'd like to call on the secretary who would read the notice of the minutes of the
Thank you. Good afternoon to all members present and to the cooperative officer, Ms. Allison, who is here with us today. The notice of this special general meeting. Notice is hereby given that there will be a special general meeting of Tateco Spain Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited on Saturday, November 25th, 2023, from 2 p.m. at our Tateco Barataria office building, 85 Fifth Street, Barataria. The agenda, call to order, and the invocation, the national anthem, the credentials committee report, the president's opening address, the minutes of the special general meeting of Saturday, 26 November 2022, budget proposals for 2024, the gas station committee report, other business, and closing remarks. Please note that registration commenced from 1:30 p.m. and there are digital copies of the SGM 2024 brochure available on the website www.tatecocu.com. At this time, I would like to welcome the President to bring his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Good afternoon, everyone. Representatives of the Commissioner's Office, Mrs. Alison Manudat, former presidents of Tateco Spain, Mr. Herman Noel, Mr. Norman Bob, members of the Executive, Secretary Claudia Ford, Assistant Secretary Richard Abraham, PRO Cliff Ramsubag, other members of the board, Mr. Wayne Yonghu, our Acting General Manager, and other members of the management team, members of the Supervisory Committee, members of the Credit Committee, members of the Tobago Committee, members of our various subcommittees, all our PWE and Youth Congress members present, members of staff from our Barataria, Tobago, and San Fernando offices, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and you, our valued members, good afternoon. Welcome to our 2023 special general meeting, where we present to you our budget for the year 2024 for your approval. Additionally, as mandated by you, we will present a report and recommendations on our gas station for your consideration. Permit me to recognize the 70th anniversary of Tateco Spain Credit Union. Tateco having been registered as a credit union on the 8th of July, 1953. You all could clap for that, you know. My heartfelt thanks to all those that have paved the way for the success that we are standing on today. We, your membership, owe you a debt of gratitude. Tateco has come a long way from a desk drawer within the walls of TNTech head office to owning our first property at 33 to 35 Park Street, Port of Spain. We now boast of our majestic head office, where we are now, 85 Fifth Street, Barataria. Additionally, we are proud owners of the Tateco House, Wilson Road, Scarborough, in Tobago, Tateco service station right next door, and our most recent acquisition, a San Fernando property, which houses our South Branch office. We have also purchased 2 parcels of land to provide affordable housing opportunities for our members, one located at Las Lomas in East Trinidad and the other at Bacalet in Tobago. I dare say that our credit union is indeed a progressive society, always focused on improvement in the quality of life for you, our valued members, as we continue to find new ways of meeting your needs. This is evident by our many new loan products, such as our mortgage bundle and soon to come Mortgage Bundle Plus, making it possible for members to realize their dreams of acquiring homes. We have redesigned our vehicle loan packages so that our young adult members entering the work world can afford to drive to work in new vehicles. We continue to place a heavy emphasis on educating our members by offering courses as well as facilitating loans and grants. Our Youth and Education Committee have partnered, and very shortly a one-year internship program will be offered to 2 of our young members. This will be rolled out early in the coming year. It is our intention to introduce them to the world of work and prepare them for leadership roles within the credit union movement, all part of our focus on succession planning. We have streamlined some of our committees for more effective operations to benefit the membership. One such change is the amalgamation of the Small Business Development Committee and the Waiver Committee. The new committee has been mandated to revise our small business loan policy, whereby we create entrepreneurs from among the membership. For those of you that are already into business, we hope to provide avenues for expansion. This will be rolled out early in 2024. It is our intention to make millionaires of you, our members. Your credit union is represented on the Northeast chapter of the Credit Union League of Trinidad and Tobago, with Mr. Cliff Ramsubag, our PRO, sitting as a director on the chapter board. Cliff is also a member of the audit committee of the league. Tateco, Port of Spain, has matured from its inception to become one of the powerhouses in the credit union movement today, being ranked one of the top 10 credit unions in Trinidad and Tobago, boasting of an active membership of 7,869, an asset base just about 600 million. Our credit portfolio stands at $273.6 million, while our delinquency is at 1.5%, well within the industry standard. I can assure you that your credit union, Tateco Port of Spain Credit Union Cooperative Society, is in a safe place. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary milestone, I thank God for the blessings He has bestowed on our credit union, and by extension, all its members. Our celebration continues in the new year to conclude in July 2024. You can look forward to several events to mark this auspicious occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me the opportunity to recognize the service to the credit union industry by 11 employees who have been with us in excess of 10 years each. Collectively, your credit union has benefited from a total of 179 years of service from these employees. I would wish to just recognize them by calling their names. We would have had a function where we presented some tokens to them a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Virgil Charles, 25 years of service. Melissa Koshi Alcazar, 16 years of service. Renisha Davidson, 16 years of service. Makisha Seeley, 16 years of service. Chrisanne Harriet McCain, 16 years of service. Ms. Natalie Vance, 16 years of service. Natalie Humphrey, 16 years of service. Sharon Gregg, 16 years of service, recently retired. Marsha Constant, 15 years of service. Cheryl Ann Alexander, 15 years of service. And Linda Samuel, 10 years of service. Can I get a round of applause for those employees, please? As I close, permit me on behalf of the executive and the board, and on my own behalf, to extend to you best wishes for the upcoming season and a productive and financially rewarding 2024. May God continue to shower you all with an abundance of His richest blessings. Tateco will continue to strive to be your premier organization, exceeding the financial and social needs of you, our members. Do enjoy the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Seeley. I would now like to re-invite the secretary who will go through the standing order and ask for the adoption of the standing order.
I would like to just welcome 3 officers from the Cooperative Department, Ms. Alison Manodas, Paula Labari Mitchell, and Mr. David Moore. Thank you very much for joining us. On page 5 in your brochure, we'd like the list of the standing orders are there. We'd just like to move for the adoption of these standing orders, please. Can I get someone? Just give your name, please. The mic. Matthew Jobity. Okay. Could I have a seconder? Okay. Can we have a seconder, please? Nigel Edwards, thank you very much. I didn't see him. Could we have a vote now for those for acceptance? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your hands. Just waiting on supervisory. What is that mean? Any against? No abstentions? We have 43 for. No against? No abstentions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claudia, but I would wish you to stay there. Before we go into the minutes, can I have a motion for the acceptance of the brochure as being read? Moved by Richard Abraham. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by
Matthew
Matthew
Jobity.
Jobity.
Matthew Jobity. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you. Having taken the brochure as read, the secretary will now entertain any questions arising out of the minutes.
The minutes are in the brochure on pages 6 to 13. If you have any questions. Any questions? Please come to the mic. The mic? He's not seeing the mic?
Good evening. My name is Andrew Joseph. I know I might be a bit late in bringing up this matter, but I just got the minutes a few minutes ago, and dotish as I am, I raised my hand to say that we read it, and to accept the minutes now, I don't know what is inside of here, right? So I don't know how we can proceed now because I don't know A or B what here. Thank you very much.
You talk something, Matthew Jobiti again. You speak something concerning the gas station there. And I want to, if there's any future for the gas station, or you all have any additional plans for the gas station in order to improve its services?
Mr. Chubeti, the gas station is listed as an agenda item, and there'll be a report submitted a little later in the meeting. So you can ask all the questions on the gas station at that time. Right, so we are treating with the minutes. So any questions arising out of the minutes, you are free to raise those questions at this time.
Good afternoon, Noel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Noel.
On page 11, (8.17), I continue to see that no entries are placed in the aspect of disposal of properties for plant and equipment. And I want to find out if this is the new way of doing accounts, or if we really didn't do any valuation of properties, or we didn't dispose of anything during the year.
We had, thanks, Mr. Noel. The Tobago building was revalued last year, and the Barrett area, and the Park Street. And the service station as well. This was December 2022. Any further questions, Mr. Noel?
If there are no further questions, can I have a motion for the adoption of the minutes, please?
Can I have someone Move for the adoption of the minutes. Alison Oliver. Can I have a seconder, please? We have somebody here. Eric Griffith.
All those in favor say aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I now invite our acting general manager, Mr. Wayne Younghu, to present our budget figures for 2024 to the membership.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to those who are looking on the live stream on YouTube. Afternoon. I will proceed this evening by first giving an economic outlook from a global perspective and a local perspective, following which I will give a review of Tateco financials for the period January to August 2023, and then finally I will move into the presentation of the budget for the financial year 2024. So I will start with the economic outlook from a global perspective. According to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the global economy is limping and not sprinting. I just want to reiterate that we are limping, not sprinting. The World Economic Forum anticipates that in 2024, economic growth globally will fall by 0.3%, moving from 2.9% in 2023 to 2.6% in 2024. And this is mainly due to three factors. One, high interest rates. Two, increased energy prices. And three, slowing down of economies, namely China. Adding to the slowing of the economy, we have the ongoing war at the moment with Israel and Palestine, also Russia and Ukraine, and COVID-19. The slowdown is expected to be higher in advanced economies as opposed to emerging economies. And additionally, there's the possibility that in the Eurozone, Europe and UK could experience mild recessions, but overall, no recession is expected worldwide. Inflation is uncomfortably high worldwide. Headline inflation is forecasted to decline year on year from 8.7% in 2022 to 6.9% in 2023 and 5.8% in 2024. While core inflation excludes food and energy prices, this is expected to decline from 6.4% in 2023 to 4.5% in 2024. According to the world economies, the inflation targets are not likely to return until 2025. Also, low-income countries may further see increase in food prices due to the ongoing war, while unemployment rate was recorded low in most advanced countries and labor markets were buoyant. In China, China is currently facing a property crisis, and this has the potential to become worse, and the demand for goods and services is weakening in China as countries are seeking alternative sources. China was projected to grow by 5% in 2023, but due to the current situation, that would be revised to 4.2% in 2024. From a local perspective, right here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Coleman Burt, delivered the budget on the 2nd of October 2023 for the 2024 financial year. This budget was based on oil price at $85 per barrel and gas price of $85 per barrel USD, that is, and gas price $5 USD per million British thermal units, or MMBTU. Our budget for 2024 is based on a total revenue of $54.01 billion, while total expenditure $59.029 billion, which resulted in a deficit budget of $5.197 million. Trinidad and Tobago economy in 2022 grew by 1.5%, and at the end of the first quarter of 2023 grew to 3%, and this was mainly due to the non-energy sector. This growth rate is well expected to continue in 2024 and 2025 at a forecasted rate of 2.4%. And driving this growth is both the energy and non-energy sector. The non-energy sector is estimated to increase by 2.6% in 2024 and by 2% in 2025. According to the central bank, for the period January to June 2023, inflation decelerated, moving from 8.3% in January 2023 to 5.8% in June 2023. Food inflation moved from a high of 17.3% to 10.1% for the same period, and core inflation, which is without exclusive of food and energy prices, moved from 6.1% to 4.8%. And that is for the period January to June 2023. In terms of the repo rate, this is the rate at which the central bank lends money to the commercial bank, usually to provide short-term lending to meet liquidity shortage. Central bank maintained the repo rate at 3.5%, and this has remained unchanged since the onset of the pandemic in 2020. In terms of employment, there was an improvement in the employment at the end of the first quarter in 2023, as at that time, unemployment stood at 4.9% compared to 1 year earlier, 5.1%. At the end of June 2023, based on data from CSO, or the Central Statistical Office, unemployment rate dropped to 3.7%. Our Heritage and Stabilization Fund net asset value increased by USD 781.9 million, moving from 4.7 billion at the end of 2022 to close at 5.5 billion USD on the 15th of September 2023. Credit rating. Two credit rating agencies, namely Moody and Standard & Poor, provided their affirmation. Standard & Poor, also called S&P, confirmed Trinidad as investment grade, and we were given BBB, all capital BBB credit rating with a stable outlook. Just to highlight that Trinidad and Tobago is one of the few investment grade countries within Latin America and the only one in the Caribbean. Meanwhile, Moody's gave a positive outlook in July 2023, affirming a BA2 grade. I will now move on to the financial performance of Tateco Port of Spain Credit Union for the performance for the period January to August 2023. I will start, just before I start, the financials can be found in our SGM brochure from page 18 to 2024, and we can follow along for this part of the report, the financial as at actual, as well as when I go into the budget presentation. As at the 31st of August, our share portfolio closed at 469.9 million. This represented an increase to date of 6.5 million when we compare that to our 2022 audited share withdrawal figure of 463.4 million. Share balances 1 year ago, August 2022, closed at 465.4 million, and to date, this represented, meaning at the end of August, this represented a net increase of 4.2 million or 1%. The share portfolio January to August 2023 grew by 1.3% compared to a negative 0.6% for the comparative period, and we were able to achieve 98.4% of our 2023 budgeted figure of 477.5 million. Moving on to our credit portfolio. The net credit portfolio closed at 288.3 million as at 31st of August 2023. This represented an increase to date of 7.5 million or 2.7% when compared to that of our December 2022 closing figure of 280.8 million. The credit portfolio for the comparative period, August 2022, amounted to 273.3 million, resulting in a net increase at the end of August 2023 in the amount of 15 million or 5.1%. At the end of August 2023, a total of 1,861 loans were disbursed to our members with a value of 50.4 million. The top three loans: 1, domestic loan, a total of 840 loans, disbursed at a value of 13.1 million. Share loans, 370 share loans was disbursed at a value of 6.5 million. And third highest loan disbursed was We Got You Covered, a total of 155 loans disbursed at a value of 4 million. At the end of the reporting period, we achieved and exceeded our 2023 budgeted portfolio figure of 285.1 million by 1.1%. Our asset base, the society's asset base, stood at 597.3 million as at the 31st of August 2023, which was 36 million less than the budget for 2023 in the amount of 615.3 million. As of August 2023, improvements were seen in net members' loan, cash in hand at bank, and property, plant, and equipment. Net members' loans exceeded the 2023 budgeted figure of 285.1 million by 3.2 million, cash in hand by 10.2 million, and PPE or plant, property, and equipment by 0.3 million. It is anticipated that other areas will be realized by year-end, 31st of December 2023. Income. Our actual income to date, January to August 2023, stood at 18.2 million as compared for the budget of 37.2 million for 2023. The line items that accounted for a significant portion of this revenue came from loan interest and investments. Interest on loans accounted for 15.9 million or 42.7% of total income, while investments accounted for 1.7 million or 4.6% of total income. Expenditure. Management continues to monitor and control costs. As such, actual expenditure to date, August 2023, closed at 10.5 million, which is 9.2 million less than that budgeted for 2023 in the amount of 19.7 million. We expensed 53.3% of our 2023 budget, and it is projected to stay well within our 19.7 million expenditure figure at the close of our financial year, 31st December 2023. The surplus closed at 7.7 million at the end of August, and with 4 months remaining in the financial year, we need 2.5 million to be realized on a monthly basis to meet our budgeted surplus of 19.7 million. This brings me to the end of my financial review for Tateco as of January to August 2023. I will now move into our budgeted proposals, which I mentioned can be found on page 18 to 24 of the brochure. Give me 1 minute while I get that report on my laptop. Right. Budget proposal 2024. Before I go into the budget proposal, I just want to identify what was the basis of preparation of the budget. The budget was prepared using a number of factors. One, Tateco's Port of Spain approved strategic plan, which is labeled as going beyond for the period 2022 to 2024. I would have just given an economic outlook of Trinidad and Tobago. So we also used projection outlined by the government of Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for the fiscal year 2023 and 2024. And what we did as at the end of August, we projected our closing figures as at year end and then budgeted for 2024. Also, I want to make a note that our budget must be able to measure against the acronym of SMART. It should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, which is within 1 year. This is the budget for 1 year period. I will now move into the budget total assets. For the fiscal year 2024, we budgeted total assets to close at 632.1 million. This represents an increase of 16.8 million or 2% from the 2023 budget of 615.3 million and a 5.8% increase over our actual total asset of August 2023 in the amount of 597.2 million. Based on our current liquidity, the society will continue to diversify our investment portfolio, and we have budgeted approximately 40 million per annum or the equivalent of 10 million per quarter in products such as equities, mutual funds, repos, and fixed income security. This would allow the investment portfolio as at 31st December 2024 to close at 143.2 million. Net loans proposed 323.9 million. This was increased by 35.7 million or 12.4% when compared to our actual net loans figure as at August 2023 in the amount of 288.3 million. We will continue to monitor our credit portfolio, analyzing performing and non-performing loan products, introducing innovative products tailored to members' needs, and increase membership growth. Our budgeted share capital, we propose 492.7 million. This represents an increase of 22.8 million or 4.9% when compared to our actual share figure at the end of August in the amount of 469.9 million. This increase was budgeted in line with our strategic plan for 2024 in the amount of 5%. Conversely, we are still challenged with balancing this portfolio due to the volume and value of share withdrawal requests received daily. Budgeted income. We are proposing a budgeted income of 37.1 million, a marginal decrease of 0.1 million or 0.3% when compared to our 2023 budgeted figure of 37.2 million. Most of our revenue figures for 2024 remain unchanged from 2023 based on our actual position as at 31st of August 2023. and that projected to year end. Our budgeted loan interest income for 2024 represents 86.5% of the society's revenue. And based on strategies to increase the credit portfolio, we are confident that both portfolios, the credit portfolio and interest income, will move in line and will be achieved simultaneously. Budgeted expenditure, we budget 19.6 million, which is a decrease of 0.2 million when compared to 2023 budget of 19.8 million. Management continue to monitor and implement cost-saving strategies, keeping in line with the objectives of the society. Having said this, based on our budgeted income and budgeted expenditure, our budgeted surplus stood at 17.5 million, which represent a decrease of 0.1 million or 13.6% when compared to that of 2023, and this is impacted by higher levels of projected revenue driven by our strategic imperatives. And finally, our capital expenditure budget stood at 14.7 million, and this is to be funded from the society's cash flow. Items under this capital expenditure include fixtures and fitting, value at 430,000, Park Street property 200,000, upgrade to our South office in the amount of 350,000, computer and equipment 705,000, investment property 10 million, our digital screen of 300,000, works at TSS, Tateco service station, 400,000, the purchase of a new vehicle, 380,000, and Tobago building, 2.05 million. I thank you, as this brings me to the end of our budget proposal for the fiscal year 2024. Any questions?
Persons having questions, we have a mic located in this area here. Just approach the mic, state your name, and present your question, please.
Hi, Stacy. Well, I'm not sure. It's supposed to be Daniel, but I think you all still have me registered as Lewis, so I don't know what name you all will have here. Choose one. Okay. You said that you proposed the interest on loans to be around the same as you proposed last year, because coming to the end of the year, you saw that you will be coming in around there. Is that correct?
What I did is we maintain the same figure based on our actual right now as of August 2023, and based on our projection as at year end, the 32.1 million may not be realized. However, in 2024, based on our strategies coming out of our strategic plan, we have decided to maintain this figure at 32.1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric Griffith. I think she asks basically a similar question to what I was going to bring to you, but just to expand on that. So your proposed for 2023 members loan was 285 million, right? And the actual as of August was 288, which was more than what at that point in time, which is more than what you had proposed for 2023.
Yes.
So, just to follow up on that question, is it that we did not realize the level of interest on the loans that was granted?
Just,
And
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Just repeat the first part of your.
Okay, so you propose in the 2023 budget as proposed, your net members loan 285 million.
Right.
As of August 2023, you had 288 million,
Right.
right?
Right.
So the question I was asking, seeing that you mentioned that you do not believe that you would realize the 32.1 million
Right.
on interest on loans. So the question I was asking is it that we did not, what is the cause of that discrepancy?
Okay, so
basically?
one side is the balance sheet, which represent the principal payment of the loans. The income side represent the interest element of loans. So we would have exceeded, I would have mentioned that we did exceed the budgeted figure for 2023. However, due to the current situation, due to our actual figure at as at the end of August, 15.9 million thereabout, we still, that is like 50% of the proposed 32.1%. And with just about 4 more months in the year, even though we have rolled out new loan promotions, it may fall slightly short of the 32 million.
So do we have an anticipated figure of how much shortfall that would be? And I'm asking it against the backdrop because I observed that we have budgeted the same level of it, for 2024.
Yes, we did in preparing the budget, we estimated based on the trend for January to August in terms of income, and that was forecasted till the end of the year. So that was, we do have that.
We have just permit me 1 second. We have an online question, so I'll allow the Assistant Secretary to read the question.
Thank you. We have a comment from Mr. Charles Innes. Interest from loans for 2023 was estimated at 32.1 million. Revenue to August is 15.9 million. On a straight line projection, our end of year revenue should be approximately 24 million, a shortfall of approximately 8 million. And he's asking why do we continue, but he didn't finish the comment, so I think it's implied.
Why do we continue? As one, this is a guide where we would like to be at the end of 2024. It is also based on, once more, using our strategic plan and the strategies that are to be rolled out in the upcoming year. We are optimistic that with the constant monitoring of our credit portfolio, that we would be able to achieve the desired proposed revenue for 2024.
I just want to add to the statement by the acting manager that in my opening remarks, we spoke about placing some emphasis on our small business loans. So it's our intention that we would get additional income from that part of the loan portfolio. So just to add to that response from the acting general manager.
Any other questions?
Yes, one more question. Again, I must say that my name is Andrew Joseph. You mentioned share withdrawals and that it's a difficult problem to deal with. What do you think are the reasons why members withdrawing their shares? That's part one.
The reasons why?
Members are withdrawing their shares,
Right.
and you are constrained to deal with that. Part two of the question is that you mentioned $400,000 for some work on the gas station.
Yeah,
Might I ask what that is about?
no problem. First, to answer your first question, very simple. Members wish not to apply, take any loans, so they rather withdraw from shares, which is something the shares is the foundation of the credit union, and we try to have members not withdraw funds from their shares, but if by accessing loans. Second question is, if you look at the TSS next door, Tateco service station, on the exterior of the building, you would see their work, the paint, and the paint is flaking there. So it's basically exterior work to be done in terms of bringing the building up to a certain standard, repainting, and as well as the interior as well.
$400,000, sir.
Well, building material would have increased by approximately 13% over the last 3 years and continue to increase.
Have you thought about granting that contract to one of your members?
It will be a tendering process, and we will advertise if members so desire to put a tender in, they are free to do so.
Coming back to the first part of the question, share withdrawals.
Yeah.
Is it far-fetched to state that because of the aggressive marketing of the banking community, that the credit unions find it difficult to keep up, and the interest being charged by the credit union is not compatible with the products being offered by the banks, and thereby members are withdrawing their shares to apply to the bank to do whatever they have to do?
Permit me to respond. Now, I keep hearing the comparison credit unions and banks. There's a stark difference between credit unions and banks. When the bank lend you money, and at the end of the day, you finish pay off that money, all you have is whatever you took that money to buy. When the credit union lends you money, your shares continue to build while you pay off that loan. So that at the end of paying off that loan, if it's a car you buy, you have your car and you have your shares. Let's stop comparing the banks and the credit unions. The credit union was built on a particular philosophy, and we have to try to maintain that philosophy. The banks are there to make profits, right? So let's stop making that comparison. It is sometimes difficult to match a large conglomerate in terms of the interest that they can offer, right? We are a small entity compared to any of the commercial banks in Trinidad and Tobago. So let's stop making that comparison. There are a number of positives, right, coming to the credit union to borrow money as opposed to going to the bank, right? We are more humane. We are not quick to repossess. So while you might say you get 0.1% less at the bank, there are a number of benefits to the credit union movement. So let's put that to rest, please.
Mr. Chair, Mr. President, with the utmost of respect, can I respond to your comments? You cannot put it to rest.
Mr. Joseph, I will permit you a small window to respond, nothing lengthy.
Thank you ever so much, sir. You are very kind. You cannot put it to rest because our members are going elsewhere and the credit union is suffering. Is it because that we are not dynamic enough, or that we do not offer more lucrative products to our membership? You told me that you'll give me a small window. I think my window is closed now.
Right. So I would just add to what I said before by indicating that this current board is working feverishly to develop new initiatives and new products. We spoke about, the acting general manager spoke about people coming to us saying, look, they don't want to take a loan. Give them a shares, right? Because they have a little small project here. We have a number. Our membership is on the more mature side. So you find that they're at a point in their life where they may not wish to take a loan because they have the cash to do whatever home repairs they may want. So we are in the process of designing some products specifically for those people, all right? And we hope that when we roll out those products in the new year, that it shows some, benefit to the member and to the credit union. Remember, at the end of the day, you as our member, you want a positive return on your investment. At the same time, there is no way that any credit union, save and except probably Eastern, can compete with the interest rates offered by the commercial lending agencies. So that there has to be a balancing act. And we are trying to balance that in the best way that we can, at the same time ensuring that the members' needs are met, both on the return on investment side and on the loan facility side. All right? So be a little patient. We have some initiatives that are coming to you shortly, right? And I am hoping that for those net savers that we refer to, they would like the product that we are coming to them with.
One last question.
I'd like to give a credential report. At 312, 74 members are present.
Thank you. You can carry on.
Hi, Annette Alexander Andrews. The previous speaker raised some of the concerns that I had, but you answered quite a few. My question to you is because I'm really concerned if people are taking out their monies, as he said, at an increasing rate. Well, we all know what he said. It would affect the general foundation of a credit union. So you said you have a lot of things on stream. Any of these things that you have on stream deals with targeting the younger persons? Because I also heard you mention that a lot of your the members are of an older age, probably like me. But sorry. For those sensitive, some mature age. Is anything being done to ensure that younger members are interested in the credit union? I looked at the thing and I noticed for education that a lot of the proposed amounts were not utilized. And I would think that education would play a key part in helping the members to understand all that you have explained. It sounds nice coming from your mouth, but if people don't feel this sense that this is the best place to be, or that, we promote that this is family and we should try not just to keep it for ourselves, but for those coming after us. Like I have children, and I don't think that they are impacted much. They are members of the credit union. So what are you doing in the initiatives that you have planned to target increasing contributions from the less mature group?
Thank you for your question. There are several initiatives in terms of the youth. We have restructured our vehicle loans because we recognize that a lot of young people are interested in owning new vehicles. So we have restructured our vehicle loan and right now we have a package specifically geared for those entering the work world, right? And we have a special vehicle loan package for them. We also have existing what we call a T-HOP loan that provides an avenue for young people to get a mortgage to own their own homes at an early age. This was premised on, for those of you that are part of the Tateco and PowerGen family, you would recognize that our pension facility to get a mortgage starts after completion of 5 years permanent service, right? Tateco has created a product that if you get permanent in the morning, you can come to us. We will bankroll you for that 5 years until you can then hand over to FinCo, right? So we have a number of products on our listing that gear towards the young people. One of the challenges we have is that a lot of people don't know about the products that we have.
Education.
So one of the things is that apart from the education, is we have to do some marketing, right? And in terms of the education, as I said earlier, one of the things that the education and the youth committee is doing is partnering to do an internship that they will offer to, in this initial stage, it will be 2 members, one in Trinidad and one in Tobago, where we will give them a 1-year program and train them within the credit union industry. It is our intention, the long-term goal is to partner with other credit unions and create an avenue whereby we can have a source, a database of people that can readily fill roles in credit unions. So we are thinking about the youths, and we continue to strategize to ensure that we satisfy the needs that are brought to us.
Okay, from the solutions that you offered, it would appear that the strategy is to tempt those who are current members to stay, because you've got good things offering.
Yes, we do.
So my other question is, what are you doing to target those to contribute more to the credit union?
Right. So before I go onto that, just one point I forgot to mention to you is that we also have educational grants available to not only the youths, but all members, right? So that they can apply for those grants, and we will assist them in terms of the education.
But I noticed a lot of those grants were not accessed this year.
And again, probably
Education.
because a lot of people may
Don't
not
know.
be aware of it.
So therefore, I am asking that in the current year that we focus more on letting people know what the credit union has for them. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, could I just add to that?
Sure.
While we recognize the aging population of the credit union, we are also aware of the younger generation, the Gen Zs and the Generation Alpha, who may not want to come to the credit union, and that is where we are now looking into digitization. Our website is up and running. We have the online services and online banking soon to be on stream. So that way we bring the credit union to these younger groups, and transferring of money could be easily done from their account to Tateco account, vice versa.
Right, Eric Griffith again. Just as a matter for clarification for me, please. On page 9, 8.3, we speak about 6 million, what do you call it, withdrawal of shares between September 2021 and September 2022. Do we have a figure for September 22 and September 23? Is it higher than that? Are we seeing a trend where this share withdrawal is increasing? And if that is the case, did we, on page 18, where we say that our total capital is budgeted at 632.1 million or 0.2 million. Does that take into consideration the fact that we are losing shares from members?
Right. So I'll answer the last question first. Yes, the 632.1 million, that the withdrawal of shares was factored into the budgeting, as that is the figure presented for share capital for 2024, 492.7 million. This is a net figure after withdrawals. In terms of the first question, yes, we keep a monthly record of all our share withdrawal. However, I do not have the data here with me at this moment, but it can be provided. From last year to this year, we saw a slight decrease from 2022 to same period 2023.
Right.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mr. Ernest Maharaj. And concerning that question, talking about share withdrawal. Like, for instance, in my case, right? I am a retiree. I got a little pittance as a pension in Tateco when I retired 20 years ago. I am retiring 20 years ago, right, in retirement. So my pension, no big pension. So if I should want something from the credit union, the only way I can get it is from my share, because I cannot repay a loan. I cannot ask for a loan. How am I going to repay the loan? So the only way I can come to the credit union and say, well, boss, I do not repay any house, I might want $20,000 or $100,000. That is the only way I can get it, through my shares. Because I cannot come to get a loan, so how am I going to repay the loan? Is that something reasonable or unreasonable? So while you all are beating your head and bouncing your head all over the place about share withdrawal, first and foremost, you all should try and get to the bottom of it, why and who is doing the withdrawal. If it's the younger people who is working, getting a salary, and they're doing that, well, something is radically wrong. But me as a retiree, and there's hundreds of retirees here in this building here right now, right? How are we going to come and ask for a loan? How are we going to repay the loan? Tell me. And when you get a solution for that, I'll be sitting right there, you'll answer me, right? And Ernest Maharaj is the name. I'm coming back here a lot, I have a lot of questions to ask you all, plenty,
All right, thank you, Mr. Maharaj.
Another thing I should say, before I leave, I am a member of this credit union for 40 years. Believe me, for 40 years, I passed through many, many managers, but I have a question about the managers thing just now. Don't worry, all you go on.
All right, thank you. Any other question?
Good evening once again.
Afternoon.
Thank you for recognizing me. Mr. Maharaj raised an important and interesting point. Recently, the credit unions celebrated 70 years of service. Great. It's not easy to reach the 70 years for an organization and for an individual. The policy of the credit union is that once you reach a certain age, you cannot access a normal loan, as Mr. Maharaj quite correctly indicated. You have to take it out of your shares. So for all of us, and I too am over 70, for all of us who are 70 years and over, celebrating with the credit union, we have no access to loans, and I quite understand the reason for the policy. I am in the twilight of my years. In fact, I am in the departure lounge. And a financial institution cannot bank on me having to repay. But what is it that stops all of us 70 years old and over from, once we have no shares, once we have no loans, from withdrawing all our shares? Because there's no benefit to none of us. I have a, forgive me, I have a proposal for all those members who, for years, built up Tateco by taking loans and giving the interest to the other members. My proposal is that if we can't get no loan to stop us from withdrawing the shares, what about having a two-tier system for the payment of, what do you call the word again? Not dividend, the next word. Not honoraria, there's another word that they use. Patronage refund. What about a two-tier system? Members who are no longer able to access loans, to stop them from withdrawing their shares, give them a two-tier, what's the word again? Patronage refund. That there's one level of patronage refund for all the young persons, and for members who are senior like myself, and Mr. Maraj, who is in the party lounge, together with me, right? Give another patronage refund to encourage us to stay and not to withdraw our shares. Another question, to piggyback on as we are on this particular point, I feel discriminated against. Young members coming into this credit union with 1 year and less service can access this bundle loan thing that you have. Great. I have no problem with that. At 4%. When me and Mr. Maraj and others like me applied for a mortgage loan, was 7%. I recently found that to be quite unfair. And I wrote the credit union. And the first time I wrote, there was no response. I got a polite acknowledgement the second time, and a very terse reply, no, something is wrong. For all the members over 70 and the senior members, you have to offer us something. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I gave you a lot of leeway there, but I realize your comments, while I am receiving your comments with all the good intent that you have presented it, and I'm sure that we will discuss it at the executive level. Please, for other future contributions, keep it on the topic of the budget, please. Let's wrap up the budget and then we can talk other things as we go along. So are there any other questions based on the budget for 2024 as presented? If there are no questions, can I have someone move for the approval of the 2024 budget? So moved by Mr. Maraj. Do I have a seconder? I recognize Eric Griffith. All those in favor, show by raise of one hand for me, please. Thank you. You can put on your hand. Any against? I take it that no against. I'm not seeing any hands from where I sit. Any abstentions? No abstentions from where I sit. Thank you very much. We await the figures from the supervisory committee.
Mr. Chair, while we await the figure from supervisory, I would just like to acknowledge Mr. Herman's Noel question earlier on while the secretary were presenting the minutes on the topic of revaluation and disposal of asset. Revaluations are done every 3 years. And in terms of disposal of asset, in our 2022 AGM booklet, there's a schedule to the back of the booklet. I can't recall the number at the moment, with property, plant, and equipment that will itemize all the additions, revaluation, and disposal. So that would be that net figure would then be carried over into the balance sheet. But we did have disposal at the end of the financial year 2022, and we did have revaluation of our several of our properties as at year end 2022 as well. But in the AGM booklet 2022, I can direct you to the pages and the schedule where you can see those figures. The revaluation will also be seen in the statement of comprehensive income under revaluation reserve, whether there was a gain or a loss. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Young. So officially, we had 48 voting in favor of, 0 against, 0 abstentions. The budget proposal for 2024 has been duly approved. Thank you. We move on to the gas station committee report. Is Mr. Lejaya? Okay, in the absence of Mr. Leja, I would want to present the report and entertain any questions arising out of the report. Just to let you know, we're going to present the report, followed by some financials, and then we're going to invite Mr. Michael Noel, our consultant, to present his feasibility study in a nutshell to you, and we will then entertain any questions that you may have. So the gas station report is found on page 14 and 15 of your brochure. And having taken the brochure as read, I will now entertain any questions arising out of the report. I'm on page 14. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. President. I hate having to come up to this microphone so regularly. Honestly, I do. But no one else is asking the pertinent questions. On top of that, Courtney not here. So I am forced to do what I don't like to do. But suffer it as it may be. They say fools rush in where angels fear to tread. I am the perennial fool. So here goes. At the last AGM, a gentleman got up, and I'm trying to remember his name now, but for the life of me, I can't. And he said that he used to work in a gas station, and there was no instance of anything being missed, because at the end of every shift, everything is balanced. There's a dip, there's an opening amount, and there's a closing amount. And by simple maths, they can calculate what is in the cash register. They count all the packs of nuts and all the packs of chana and all the orange juice in the fridge. And they know what was the opening stock. And they can assess what that is. To me, that sounds simple enough. So I am at a loss why it is, in a time gone by, we had missed so much of money. If I may go back a little bit.
Mr. Joseph, can I pause you a second?
Sure.
Is there a specific question you have arising out of the report that is contained on page 14 and 15?
Yes, sir.
Could you point us exactly to
My question is,
thank you.
how is the day sales balanced?
Mr. Joseph, the financial aspect of the report will be presented following any questions arising out of page 14 and 15. Right? As I indicated, the format that we are going to use to present the report today is that we're going to go through the report as in the brochure. Mr. Young, who is going to present the financials for the gas station, and then Mr. Noel is going to present the feasibility study, which the members asked for. Would you wish to wait until Mr. Young's presentation to ask your question?
Mr. President, I do not wish to be rude, and you are in control of this meeting. I, as a member, have 2 times that I can stand up and ask questions concerning anything concerning this credit union. Once is at today's meeting, and the second time is at the AGM. I have noticed with some degree of consistency, either deliberately or unconsciously, there has been attempts to not going into too much of detail, especially about this gas station. I am concerned. My question has nothing to do with the feasibility study that will be presented early on, later on, and has nothing to do with what Mr. Noel is going to say. My question is simple. What happens at the end of a day's sale? How is the day's sale balanced?
And what I'm telling you, Mr. Joseph, is that Mr. Young who can indicate that to you in his presentation of the financials. So I'm asking you to be patient.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And allow Mr. Young to present that to you.
Thank you.
Following this discussion.
Thank you. Do I have your permission that after the presentation is made, I can again approach the microphone?
We will entertain your questions
Thank you,
at
sir.
that stage, Mr. Joseph. Are there any questions based on the report that is contained in the brochure?
Annette Alexander Andrews again. Page 14, the new additional income. Do you have any idea the estimate? Is this on?
I'm hardly hearing you.
Right. Do you have any idea the estimate amount of money you all will be getting from this?
From what aspect of one page?
Page
What?
15, additional income following the decision to invest in a digital
Right.
electrical board.
Mr. Young, could you help me with the answer to that question, please?
Yeah, we estimate 30,000 per month as an introductory price, and then we have a marketing plan where we introduce, at a cheaper rate, and then for a certain period, and then it will be increased thereafter. But on average, 30,000 a month. The digital screen would approximately 10 to 12 ads we could accommodate on the screen.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions?
Page 14, strategic plan.
Yes.
It is mentioned here that the strategic plan will be done following the feasibility study. Is this a correct point in the meeting to discuss that, or should we wait until the?
No, sure. You can go ahead. Ask
Okay,
the question.
so just to get clarity, is it that we done a strategic plan for the gas station coming out of the feasibility study, or is this something that we anticipate to be done for the start of 2024?
Right. So let me just make a statement before I answer the question. The feasibility study that is being presented is part 1. Right? The consultant has indicated to us that it will take a period of time to do the full feasibility study. Given that we wanted to present some information to the membership today, he would have done part one of the feasibility study. The reason why we took the decision to do the feasibility study before the strategic plan is because we can do the feasibility study and it rule out that, look, do not continue with the business. Then, having done a strategic plan, we would have wasted some funds on that. So we wanted to ensure that there's viability in continuing the business operation before we do the strategic plan.
Okay.
That's the only reason the strategic plan was not done as yet. But following today's decision, right, because there is a recommendation coming out from the gas station committee, and following the membership's decision today, then we will commission that strategic plan. Any other questions?
It's not a question really, just throw out something. I didn't hear the name of the previous speaker.
The
but
name of
I
the
would like to-
previous speaker is Eric Griffith.
I would like you to say the name for the previous, for the record.
Right, so I'll have to remind you of that as well, right?
Anytime, Matthew Jobiti.
Thank you. I recognize Mr. Herman Noel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. A quick one.
Is this
My
mic working? I'm hardly hearing the...
Herman Noel. Yes, Herman Noel. A quick one on page 15. Number 10, the fraud matter. Now, I am reading it and I am trying to understand if positive should be part of that sentence.
All right. Interesting point, Mr. Noel. We all anticipate positive things. So I anticipate that the police will eventually reach to the bottom of the fraud matter. All right? And just in case anybody is wondering, Tateco as an entity, we took a decision, having received some advice because we spoke to our attorneys. One of the options we have is to follow through with a civil matter. Now, the police is having difficulty in locating the individual. First, to follow through with a civil matter, it means starting a process that is lengthy and costly. So that we felt that it was not in our best interest to pursue the civil matter. And as such, we have been working with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in terms of trying to facilitate their investigation into this matter. Okay? But we hoping for a positive response. The police have interviewed several people and the investigation is ongoing. Are there any other questions coming out of the report? If there are no questions, I would want Mr. Young-Hu to now present the financial analysis of the gas station to you, and then we'd entertain any questions. Could you address Mr. Joseph's question one time in terms of the process of closing the day sales?
Right, so afternoon again, everyone. At the end of the day, at the gas station, which is at 6 p.m., there are several balancing that will be done by the supervisor. One, we have income that would have been generated from the sale of fuel, and we also have income that would have been generated from the C-store and the lotto booth. Each area, the cash is counted separately by the supervisor. There's a report that is generated from the fuel system that the supervisor would use in tallying back at the end to tally the fuel sales. Similarly, with the C-store, the point of sale software, a report is generated, which we call like a Z report, if you all are familiar with retail. This report identifies all transactions as it relates to cash sales, links, credit card. This is also tallied and reconciled at the end of the shift, as well as the lotto booth. There's a report. So all three systems from the as well, there are reports that are generated that we would now, the supervisor would now use in balancing her cash at the end of the day. Once the balancing part of the different revenue streams is completed, the supervisor will now enter this information. We use an accounting software, QuickBooks. That information is then transferred into the accounting software, QuickBooks, on a daily basis. This is done before they leave the close of the shift, and the process is repeated daily thereafter. If you want to talk about at the end of the day as well in terms of the fuel, the supervisor together with the forecourt attendant, they will take a reading of all the fuel on the fuel reading on the meters of the pump, as well as they conduct a dip of the fuel that is stored in the ground. So we have an idea what our closing fuel in terms of liters represent. And they also have stock count that they will do, and we have record of this on a daily basis. We also have the high items that are very risky, such as cigarette. You know, that could we have value inventory count cigarettes, and we have recently started the sale of alcoholic beverages. So these items are checked before closure and leaving the service station. I hope that lends some assistance to you, Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Joseph, could you wait until Mr. Young presents his financial report before you ask your question, please? Thank you. You can sit right here. We have vacant seats here. Yes, Mr. Young, could you please?
Okay, so I'll be presenting the TSS, Tateco Service Station report for the period April 2023 to October 2023, 7-month period. Over the 7-month period, April 2023 to October 2023, total sales revenue amounted to 3.4 million with a corresponding cost of goods sold of 3.1 million. This resulted in a gross profit of $303,000. We have identified that before our overheads, we continue to make gross profit month on month. However, due to the overheads that we currently experience right now, these overheads are eroding the gross profit, and sometimes it would seem to have us in a net loss as opposed to a profit. We have also identified that while we are making profit, we also need to control. There are some costs that we are going to adjust in the new year that will enable us to turn around allow us to turn around into a profit. So, for example, the sale of fuel, lotto, and the C-store items, it will continue to make profit. However, we need more than that. And that is where the introduction of the digital screen, our increased marketing for the sale of alcohol, and we are also reaching out to corporate clients and also back to the Maxi Taxi Association, because many of us who would have known the gas station back in 2012 would have known that it was a regular place for the traffic of maxi taxis the volume was very high on a daily basis. So with these strategies, we are anticipating that our profit situation will turn around in time for the AGM, and based on projections that were done to reduce overheads and increase sales revenue through the three items I identified a little while ago, we can expect our TSS to move into a positive, profitable venture. That brings me to the end of the accounting, the financials for Tateco Service Station for the period.
All right, we will now entertain any questions. I would recognize Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. President. You are most kind. Mr. Yong Hoi.
Young Ho.
Yong Ho. My apologies, sir. Mr. Yong Ho. The system that you enunciated a few minutes ago seems to be foolproof. You take a dip, your balance, it is almost foolproof. Can you tell me, was that the same system that was in place prior to the discovery of the fraud?
Permit me to answer that question. All right, so
Mr. President, if I may interject, and I do not wish to be rude, you are the president of this organization, and I have great respect for your office and great respect for you as a person. But when I got up earlier, you tell me wait for Mr. Yong Hoi.
no,
So
I
now
told you
I ask the
wait for the
question.
financials to be presented, because your question was based on the financials. Now you are asking another question that is not based on financials, it's based on operationals. Right? So let me indicate to you what happened previously. So that there were some anomalies that allowed for more than one shift to be opened in any day on the gas station. All right? In doing so, we had an individual who, and I have to be very cautious what I'm saying because this is a matter that is under investigation, right? So we had an individual understanding the system and use the system conveniently. We have since modified the system that there is one shift, and when I say shift, we're talking the software. So this is an electronic shift, right? That it operates now, that what occurred in the past, I don't want to use the word, it cannot happen again, but there are more checks and balances in place to avoid a reoccurrence. All right? Let us not dwell too much in the past. In the past, mistakes have been made. We have recognized that. We have acknowledged the mistakes that were made. We have put measures in place to treat with those mistakes reoccurring. So the process that Mr. Young, who would have indicated to you, is the process that happens now. The process that happened then would not have been the same process. So the process, there is some improvement to the process that happens now. I hope that satisfies your question.
I hate to be approaching this microphone like this. I wish that other people would ask questions, but in the absence of that, Mr. President, I vividly remember some years ago, you given me the same assurance, and I took it for what it's worth. Today, again, I take it for what it's worth. And I hope that I don't have to approach this microphone again and have to say the same things over and over. Thank you very much.
Well, I trust that the system that we have put in place will alleviate all your concerns. But just for the record, when the matter happened that you are referring to, I was not part of the board. So I'm not sure what advice I would have given you at that time. Right? Any other questions? Mr. Gary Charles.
Good afternoon. Yes, correct. Harry with 2 R's. Now, I didn't hear the full statement from the finance manager, but however, he spoke about a profit of $300 and something thousand. I don't know if that is a month, if it's a year, and I believe that sales, that profit was connected to the additional alcohol and different sales. But I was hoping that I could get a separate profit as it relates to the sales of the gas.
Right. So we can provide any breakdown that you wish, right? What I would ask is that you have a chat with Mr. Young after, and he will provide all the information that you need. In a nutshell, let me indicate what Mr. Young has presented. Basically, the entity, Tateco service station, on a daily basis is generating income, whether from the sale of ice, lotto, gas, cigarettes, alcohol, stop shop. It's creating and generating an income. One of the challenges we find, or that we have found, is that our overheads are eating away at the gross profit. So, at our last board meeting, based on a decision taken by the gas station committee, I would have taken a proposal to the board for approval. That proposal was approved, and there are some key things in our overheads that are going to be addressed in the very immediate future. Let me see if I can give you some idea of figures. Our overheads in the gas station on a monthly basis is somewhere between $60,000 to $70,000. As I said, that is eating into the gross profits that we get from the gas station operations. It is our proposal. The sale of alcohol is something that only came on in the last few months. And we started with soft alcohol in terms of beers and other things like that. We have now gone to hard alcohol in the last month, and we're hoping that because of the margins on alcohol, that it will increase the revenue in a particular direction. In addition, we are going to reduce our overheads in the vicinity of about $21,000 to $22,000 on a monthly basis, based on having looked at what those overheads are and putting simple strategies in place to reduce the overheads. What we are asking is basically, let's look at this for the next 4 months until AGM next year. See the direction in which these strategies take our net profit, and then make an informed decision at that time. So basically, in a nutshell, that is the layman's interpretation of what Mr. Young would have presented. If there are no further questions to Mr. Young, yes, Gary?
Yes, I would like to know what percentage of the gas loss is this $60,000 that we lost in every month.
And there's no gas loss, Mr. Charles. What I indicated is that the entity is generating a gross profit, so that all the items that are being sold is generating a profit, what we call a gross profit.
in order to arrive at your net profit, you now have to minus your overheads. Your overheads are things like electricity, salaries, any expenses that you would have.
Expenditure.
Yeah,
We
right?
understand that.
So in order to reduce those overheads, right, we have to look at some critical areas of that expenditure and make some hard decisions.
No, excuse. Now, we have a service station that generating, what you say, 300 and something $1,000. I didn't hear if it's a year, a month, whatever.
The period of time was from August, from April.
However, we still operating at a loss because of our overall expenses.
Mhm.
Now, before we introduce these additional sales of beers and this and that to generate a profit, we were operating the gas station at a loss. Now, because of this additional, what I should say, sales of different services, we started generate a profit. You can't tell me that we're not still losing money from the gas if you're not showing me that. I'm not taking no politician word. I'm not calling you a politician, right? But as the head of the organization, I notice every time they pose a question to Mr. Young, you just intercepting it. I don't know why, but it raises a level of suspicion, right?
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but as the president of this organization, the task of answering to the membership is mine. While anybody that presents on behalf of the organization is welcome, at the end of the day, the task is mine. I have to answer to the membership. And I take my task very seriously.
And I appreciate that quite a lot, Mr. Seeley. However, as a board, you appoint committees to do different things. I don't know on what basis they report to you, how often they report to you, but however, the people before you, I don't know if they was vigilant as you, but we lost a lot of money. So there's a reason for concern. So when people come to the mic, it's not to point fingers at anybody. But if you have a committee that is responsible for a particular service, it's only fair that you allow the head of that committee to report to this council.
Well, I'm happy to inform you, Mr. Charles, that I am the head of the gas station committee.
All right, thanks to know that. How much money the gas station lost since the last AGM?
Mr. Charles, I don't have those figures in front of me. I can have those figures available for you before you leave here today.
And could you confirm the gas station and sales of gas had lost no money at all?
And I'm saying to you, the products that we are selling, whether it be gas or any other product, is generating an income. I'm also saying to you that that income is being eroded based on the expenditure, based on the overheads. So the direction in which we are going is to reduce the overheads.
Okay. And if we introduce the sale of mangoes, that is generating 10% profit, while the gas continue to lose 15% profit, it doesn't make a difference because the mangoes generating 10%.
And I'm saying to you, the gas is not losing money.
But you just
We
tell
just
me you
not
don't have the
making
information.
enough.
You just tell me you don't have the information in front of you.
No, but I don't have the exact figures.
Have a pleasant
But we are not
afternoon.
losing money. We just need to make more in order to cover the expenditure, the existing expenditure. Now, one of the things that you all need to understand, right? There are profit margins based on products. So, fuel sales are in the vicinity of about 6% profit margin. Now, if it is that we were selling fuel alone, it means that 6% need to treat with salaries, need to treat with electricity, need to treat with security, need to treat with internet access, so that gas stations diversify their products and get products on board that have higher profit margins. So that cigarettes, for instance, the sale of alcohol, and other such things. So it's not just looking at one thing in isolation. Gas stations cannot, based on the 6% margin, gas stations cannot operate successfully on fuel alone, right? So we diversify the products in order that it adds to the revenue stream, and we hope that in terms of the expenditure, the overheads, that we are able to control those and get the gas station profitable. All right? Are there any other questions for Mr. Yonghu? Because I would like to invite Mr. Michael Noel to present his findings on the feasibility study that was conducted. So if no further questions, thank you, Mr. Yonghu. And I now invite Mr. Michael Noel to the podium.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board, members of the Credit Committee, Supervisory Committee, and other committees, fellow cooperatives. It was my assignment to look at a feasibility study to see if the gas station as a going concern was
Mr. Noel, one
profitable.
second. Can we have somebody adjust the mic for Mr. Noel, please?
Yeah, it can alone. Sorry. I'll make it. Okay.
Thank you.
This report comprises part 1 of the feasibility report of the TSS as requested by the board of Tateco Credit Union and was generated based on information available. Of concern was the large annual losses of approximately $600,000 in the years 2020, 2021, and 2022. The impact of the COVID lockdown on the traveling public and hence hostile business climate in the years 2020 and 2021 resulted in huge losses. The accounts prior to January 2023 to July 2023 are being ratified by the accountants attached to the Tateco Credit Union in preparation for the budget presentation. Therefore, the accounts of 2023 were not available at the time that this report was done. However, using the 2023 three-month sales as a guide, the TSS could be in a break-even position by January 2024. Provided that 1/3 of the overheads are reduced and there is an increase in fuel, lotto, and liquor sales. The recent implementation in October 2023 of hard liquor sales with its greater markup is a source of increased revenue. The TSS Management Committee has the tools to implement strategies provided in this report, which should bring a severe reduction in overheads, which would at least generate a break-even position for the TSS. The proposed reduction of vehicles burning fossil fuel by 2040 would contract the market for gas and diesel and further impact profitability. Based on the institutional environment in which the gas station retail market operates and the impact of the decommissioning of fossil fuels worldwide and the small margins achieved by fuel sales alone, it is confirmed that fuel sales alone is not profitable. The main revenue earner would be associated with the activities with the higher margins as occur in the C-store liquor sales. Given the recent advent of the purchasing and sales of the C-store items in October 2023, this is an income stream to be encouraged. The fixed costs and the overheads associated with the staffing levels are unsustainable, and given the small margins, staff reductions is highly recommended. The marketing of the TSS and the establishment of its reputation as a reliable source of fuel, lotto, and liquor sales is needed to achieve projected levels of fuel sales, which is projected at $500,000 per month, lotto of $60,000 per month, and high-end liquor of above $2,000 per month. The third recommendation, With a membership of over 7,000, the marketing strategy of a loyalty or gas card should be revived to provide members of the credit union with additional benefits when doing business with the TSS. It was suggested that the formatting of the financials be redone to reflect the cash flows, where the cash flows include cash, debit cards, charge bills, and Visa, and the trading account reflect the increase and decrease in asset value. The option to lease or close down has not been evaluated as yet. It is recommended that the TSS property be valued as an asset, both as land only and as a going concern, and the appropriate rental value based on current market trends be analyzed to determine the lease value and compared with the income generated when all the prior recommendations for improving the efficiency of the TSS are implemented. Thank you, Mr. President.
At this time, I'd entertain any questions on Mr. Noel's report. No questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Noel. Having presented all the information so far on the gas station, I would wish to draw your attention to page 15, item 12, and I would read conclusion/recommendation. Cognizant of the concerns of the membership, where it was felt that the TSS Tateco service station is a drain on the resources of the credit union, the committee, having reviewed and adjusted the operations to date, is of the opinion that the proposed changes should be given an opportunity to take effect. As such, we are recommending a deferral on a final decision on this investment to our AGM 2024. I would like to put this to the floor for consideration. Who's that, Norman? Norman Bob? So moved by Norman Bob. Do I have a seconder? Jennifer McCullin. Because of the nature of this particular entity, I would want to do a show of hands of all those in favor. So all those in favor, please raise one hand. Thank you. Any against? And from where I sit, I'm not seeing any against. Any abstentions? Thank you. I await the supervisory's figures. I now open the floor for any other matters that anybody would wish to raise.
Stacey Daniel. I just wanted to make one comment from the AGM. With regards to the Bacalet property, as a member, I had no idea that there was an option to put down your names for the selection, and I was really very disappointed in how that happened at the AGM, and I just wanted to state my concerns.
Thank you very much for that feedback, Ms. Daniel? Mrs. Daniel. Results of the motion, 41 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention. So the motion is duly carried. Let me just take the opportunity to inform the membership that on Friday coming, the executive travels to Tobago to address the same Bacalet property, where we will be drawing for lot numbers. So lot numbers will be assigned to the persons that would have been successful at the last AGM. So we are hoping that we can kickstart that process in a very short time and derive some income from that particular investment property. It is our intention that once we close off that particular investment property, and I can also say about with reference to Las Lomas as well, because we just have about 2 properties remaining in Las Lomas to close off. We are going to be looking for other properties throughout Trinidad and Tobago to invest in on behalf of our members. So, Stacy, you can feel free to still put your name on the list, because the opportunities will arise in the not too distant future. Are there any other matters anybody would wish to raise?
Matthew Jobiti. There is something concern. Does anybody in Trinidad in a cooperative can buy property in Tobago as well?
Yeah, we have quite a few members from Trinidad that have gotten the option to purchase the property in Bacalet.
Okay.
It's not just Tobago members only.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Andrew Joseph once again. There are 2 instances where the credit union, in seeking to diversify their investments, entered into. 1 is the gas station. 2 is the property at Las Lomas, and 3, the one in Tobago. The one in Las Lomas has been ongoing now for, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 years? More than that?
Yeah, thereabout.
And the gas station has been ongoing now for several years, and before we were able to open it, there was a long, long period. I have heard from you, Mr. Chairman, that you are looking to purchase other properties so that, for the benefit of membership. Great. But I caution, in the instances where the credit union has chosen to step outside their ambit of a financial institution and make investments otherwise, I have found it, and that's my personal view, to be a little bit cumbersome. 10 years for Las Lomas, and we still have properties selling. Can't get it sell yet. I shudder to think what it cost to put in all the infrastructure and all of that. Well, I don't know about Tobago. I'm hearing the gas station in operation for how many years? 4 or 5 years?
So Mr. Joseph?
And we still losing. My point, Mr. President, is that before the board and the executive decision take a decision to enter into anything that will be brought to the membership, put your proposal to the membership, let us hear the yeas and nays, and see how it goes. Because so far, we are doing too good. That's point 1. Second point that I wish to raise up is the car park on Frederick Street. It is my understanding that when you, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, that when the building was broken down, that TNTech members were offered to park their cars at a certain price. TNTech members found that the price was a little bit exorbitant. Lo and behold, we are told that at a much reduced fee, a contract was entered into with another entity for the employees to park their cars there.
Can I pause you there?
Sure, sir.
I'm only pausing you because your information is not correct.
Go correct me, sir.
It's not a reduced fee, so that's why I'm pausing you. It's not a reduced fee. If you have information that you want to bring, make sure that the information is correct.
I am not on the board. I am not a member of the executive. So if you say it's not on a reduced fee and you as president of this organization, I have to accept that. But I would like to suggest that that car park be offered at whatever price you choose, first and foremost for TNTech employees. The name of this credit union is Tateco, Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission Credit Union. Tateco members should be allowed to benefit from that. The third point that I want to raise, and this is other business, I could raise anything, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Joseph. I just asking the Assistant Secretary to note it so I
Yeah.
can respond to you.
Yeah, that's another point that I want to raise. What happens when members get up at these meetings and say A, B, C, D, E, brouhaha? Does the executive do anything with it? Does the board sit and decide, well, there's merit in this suggestion and we should go forward with it? I don't have a clue. But let me move on. Forgive me, sir. Sometimes I get quite nervous and my lips get dry. Give me a minute. The other point that I want to raise is the 1% for the staff. Don't get me wrong. I have no disagreement with the staff getting a bonus. In fact, it is laudable that employees working well, way and above the call of duty, should be given an incentive. My problem is you enshrining it to say it's 1% of the, whatever you call it. My words elude me at this time.
Surplus. Surplus is the word.
Surplus. Now, to me, that is wrong. Forgive me, members of staff. You have always dealt with me fairly, and I love you all. But it's not about personalities here. It's about principle. The staff of this credit union, they are unionized. And all the benefits derived to the staff are negotiated by the union. When you as a board or as an entity decide to pay staff 1% extra on what is negotiated, you're setting a dangerous precedent. There will come a time when they sit down for negotiation and you can't pull back that because it is an enshrined right. Something is wrong with that. And I strongly advise that that be looked at again. The next point that I want to raise.
Mr. Joseph, how much points you have?
Plenty. Nobody else is getting up and say nothing, and I love this credit union. So I have things that I want to say.
Could you keep it brief, please? Get to the point a little quicker.
I am trying to keep it as brief as I can. I have a problem that at the AGM, members who are toddlers are allowed to vote. I have raised that issue at another time, and nothing has been done. A babe in arms cannot be asked to adjudicate on a multi-million-dollar organization. Something is wrong with that. I have other points, but you seem to be getting a little bit antsy with me, so I will close now. Thank you very much.
Mr. Joseph, I will never get antsy with you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have grown over the years. That has not been your case in years gone by.
We all
Thank
have
you very
grown.
much.
We all have grown. So just let me take the last question that I remember the last question. What we will do for our AGM is to publish guidelines as provided to us by the cooperative department in terms of those PWs being allowed to vote, right? So we will publish that information so everybody is quite clear as to how that is treated with. The 1% for the staff, if you would recall, that is something that the membership told us to do. So if it is that you would wish to change that, then there's a particular format that has to be followed, a resolution, and the membership will determine if to remove it from the staff. Right? We, the board, our hands are tied. You have given us instruction, we are following your instruction. Right, so the car park, it is my understanding that Tateco was offered to lease the car park, and that fell through. The membership was offered as well, but as you indicated, the cost was a bit too high. At the end of the day, and I want people to understand what I'm about to say, because I made the statement somewhere in another place and people misunderstood what I had to say. You see, outside of these four walls at 85 Fish Street, Bath area, where our head office is, any other property we own is to make money. Tobago building is to make money. Park Street is to make money. Las Lomas is to make money. Bacalet is to make money. San Fernando building is to make money. The service station is to make money. Right? Any other property that we own outside of 85 Fish Street is to make money. So while we would love our members to help us make the money, we're not sitting down waiting for the members to come. If the members don't want to come, we have to find a way to make money so that when you come to the AGM, come next year, we can say, here's your return on investment. Understood? I make no apologies for that. Any investment property will be treated as investment. Make money. The cooperative spirit tells us that we don't talk profit in the credit union, so Barataria at 85 Fish Street, we will try to make surplus. You see, outside there, we're making profit. I make no apologies for that. Your money needs to work for you. Any other questions? Just allow me to give a credentials report.
Credential report at 4:25 p.m., 79 members.
Yes, Mr. Maraj again. No, this Maraj is the name. Something was said yesterday that the membership approved the 1%. But lo and behold, I don't know when, where, and when. I think I attended all these meetings, which probably you could attest to, right? And I'm hearing today that the membership approved that 1%. You can approve 10%, it doesn't bother me, you know. But I'm saying, the word you use, the membership approved that. And I see the lady next to you shaking her head very, be that as maybe Daddy came in here drunk at that time when that was done. I do not know. I stopped drinking alcohol over 20 years now. So, I mean, and another thing I heard at the AGM, we are co-owners of this credit union. We are co-owners. I don't know if I'm wrong with the English language, but co means that somebody else owns and another person owns the same entity. So I don't know who owns part of Tateco and who owns the other part of Tateco, because it was said in an AGM. That is on record. And the boss there will attest to that. That was said in the AGM. So I'm asking the question, just as I'm saying in the beginning, I do not know about this 1% that maybe you say that I approve, and I don't know who the other person or entity that owns the other half of Tateco. So maybe can you clarify that for me, please, before I leave the mic?
So that if my memory serves me, I think it's somewhere around 2016 or 2017 where the membership would have brought a resolution to the AGM for the 1% for staff. And that was duly tabled, voted on, and the motion passed.
Well, my brother, I maybe that's so, but I don't know how the membership never approved that we get another 10% in our dividend. How come? How come the membership there never said, boy, we should get another 2% more in what we getting from you all? But you are saying that we are giving away the money and we not getting nothing. So maybe the other something is getting the other half of the money. So I don't know who really owns Tateco. Could you clarify that for me?
All right. So just to answer your second question about the word co-owners, we all collectively own the credit union.
Say the correct word. Say we, the members, own Tateco.
Well, it's only members supposed to be here.
Well, so where did co come in? What does it mean the word co when you're using these kind of languages?
We all
You mean somebody
collectively own the credit union.
Beg your pardon?
We all collectively own the credit union.
So we, the members, own Tateco. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, we do.
So I'm asking the question, why the word co was mentioned? The boss might say, well, it's probably slipped out as a mistake, a little joke was made. Let me clarify that. But I want to know if somebody else is enjoying my labor.
No, Mr. Moran.
Okay.
Nobody else is enjoying.
Okay, have some
We
more
all
questions.
will enjoy.
All right, all right. But I said to the members who say, no, they're quiet, who approved us 1%, they have to be well done, see that they never come to you and say, well, we should get another 2% in our dividend. How come they never do that? I surrender.
Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Moran.
I surrender.
Can I allow me to addend the credential report at 425? It's 79 members present and 3 visitors.
Thank you. Yes, I saw 2 persons approaching the mic. I recognize Mr. Cliff Thomas.
What by? No, say the whole name, the whole name. Got 2 Cliff here. I the one that has Sanchez, Dominic Simeon before the Thomas. Don't forget that. It's called me Cliff Thomas for sure.
Remember, I getting mature too, so I ain't going to remember all.
Don't make joke. I just want to, I still have a little problem with the, I want to offer a little suggestion to whoever, the committee or whoever that's saying we need to, the way forward for the gas station. No manager can manage a gas station, you know. When I say manager, when young who can manage the gas station, you know, you have to be of a kind of way, you have to have a kind of metal to manage a gas station. You have to know the cost. I don't know if all you understand. That's why I just tell them, as the man, they were saying, talk about some gas station operation, and you have to dip the tank every shift. And when the next person coming on, you have to dip the tank. And I wanted to ask them, how much water it have in the gas tank? Them underground tanks, because the gas does sweat. And I give them the estimate, I give them the advice how we had to get the water measurement different from the gas measurement. You had to put a paste on the rod. When it touch water, it changes a different color to when it touching gas. When it touching gas, it don't change no color. But that is by the way. But the manager part I'm talking about, because we agree that we give the gas station a chance. We give it a chance. Gas stations, I always tell people, 1969, I was up there at 8th Avenue on 5th Street. Kester Seeley didn't born yet when I used to work in that gas station. So here what happening, them still in business with the same owner. The same McIntyre have the gas station. Is the son and the grandchildren running the gas station now? Am I right, Kester Seeley? Am I right?
Yes,
Stuart,
Mr. Thomas, you are
Stuart
correct.
McIntyre is still the owner. You know, he shoot a man in the gas station because they come to rob him. It's all that
Several men, not just
that
one.
all that we have to do. They don't run a gas station by sitting down in our office from 7 to 4. We used to run 3 shifts in that gas station. Now it's going to 2. It's going down to 2. But you know, as I always tell people, gas station does make money with service. And you see when they give away the service in that gas station, that's the first loss we start to make. That was a good service gas station in them days. It had two, one on this end and one on the 8th Avenue end. Service was good. I know, if you want, if you're looking for a manager, I'm available, you know, but the style is what you have to know, right?
Thank you for your contribution and your offer, Mr. Thomas. Any other questions? And I'll be entertaining about no more than 3 more questions.
My name is Junior Joseph. I'm here to ask, since we lost in money, what you all putting in place to retirees who reach a certain age? You understand me? Isn't there a token of appreciation for long livers? I find it's to put that into, you understand me? That long livers are supposed to be given a token of appreciation because we lost in, so we could trickle it down this way too.
Thank you for your contribution, and just to let you know that as part of our 70th anniversary celebrations, UD membership will be considered when we are rolling out our plans early in the new year.
And what you all have in place for cybercrime?
When you say cybercrime, in terms of what? The protection?
Yeah.
Right. So our IT committee, right, has some plans in place. Well, I should say more than plans. We are acquiring some additional software and hardware to be able to protect us, strengthen our firewall, right? And we're also doing some training as well for our members, right? But the IT committee has it well in hand.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, all. Jennifer McCullin. The question is there any plan afoot for increased membership?
There continues to be a strategic objective to increase our membership. One of the things that we are doing, having recognized that our parent companies are not hiring additional people, we are looking at opening our bond in a controlled manner. There is a policy review committee that is meeting and looking at that particular aspect. We hope to have something to bring to you, the membership, by AGM next year in terms of the direction in which we want to go to open up the bond a bit. Right? We want to keep it tight, but I spoke about our 1.5% delinquency earlier. Right? We are very proud of that, and we want to hold on to that so that in opening our membership, we need to be very cautious as to what direction we go. Okay? Mr. Herman Noel.
Yes, sir. I stand at this time, I want to say, Mr. Chairman, Herman Noel, that Mr. Maraj raised a point about the 1%. I sat on the board when that was approved by the membership. So it was something that was approved at an AGM by the membership some years ago, right? But I stand at this time, sir, because I realized that you were dealing with the gas station and you jumped straight into general business, right? So I will get into the aspect of general business at this time. Mr. Chairman, I have looked at the organization over the last few years, and I really haven't seen any kind of initiative in order for us to make some money to pay a better dividend. Really. I am seeing some of the loan agreements and whatnot, and I'm saying to you that we cannot leave the members who are not Tateco or PowerGen employees out. I am seeing the advertising loans and they're indicating that only salary reduction, right? I want to say to you that that is discrimination. And if anybody who are members and are not employees and they get hold of that, we have to look at that, right? Because we can't discriminate among members, right? That's one aspect that I noticed. I want to raise a matter with you about the aspect of the land in Las Lomas and Tobago. Mr. Chairman, I know that I was part of the decision when we talk about members first, right, with the land in Las Lomas. But I am saying that probably we made a mistake then, and the board need to look at it and correct it. Because it took us, somebody said, about 10 years to get rid of all the properties in Las Lomas. I hope that it won't take us 10 years to get rid of the properties that we have in Tobago. Mr. Chairman, and members of the board, members present here today, I would like to suggest to the board that they look at giving one loan for the construction and the purchasing of the property in Tobago. You see, when somebody, any member, had to come and purchase that land for 1 point whatever million, and then have to go and look for a next loan for 1 point something million or 2 million to build, is difficult. But if that person approach any financial organization, and I hope that they will approach us, and they come and take a $3 million loan, right, to purchase the property and to construct, and we can control the construction aspect there, because we could have designs that we could ask them to approve by you all, and they deal with that. We need to generate more surplus in the organization, because when I heard the manager talking about 1.2% and whatnot, I recognize that if we're talking about 1.2%, which means that in 2023, we might be looking at a dividend of less than 1%, right? And that is how I see it. Mr. Chairman, I am putting it to the board. I mean, you all are going on this strategic plan just now. That was said. It is important that we get rid of those property quick. It's no point we holding on to asset and we have it there, and then we have to maintain. We have to cut the grass, we have to do this, we have to do that. Let us get rid of those properties. Let the members borrow the money. Let us make some interest. Let us pay dividend to our members. This is what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noel. It seems you have been eavesdropping at my board meetings. So I just want to respond to you and tell you, done, done, and done. Right? We have gone so far as to have shortlisted construction companies with pre-approved designs that are just ready. Friday's exercise is to distribute the lot numbers, and I expect before the AGM, all our lots should be sold. Right? And we went a step, and you see, now we keep getting licks every time we enter a new venture. But what it allows us to do is to learn. So we have learned from the last Lomas exercise, right? What we did in this incarnation with Bacalit is that we pre-approved persons, so that it's not about when you get your lot, if you could afford it, right? So the process is getting smoother. We are working out the kinks, and we are doing things better and better for you, the membership, right? But we have everything that you have suggested to us already on the table. Any other questions, any other contributions? If there are no further contributions, I want to call today's meeting to a close and invite the PRO to present the vote of thanks and
closing prayer.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. On behalf of the executive and the board of directors, I would like to thank the officers from the Commissioner's office, Mrs. Paula Labary Mitchell, Mrs. Alison Manodat, and also a special guest, Mr. David Moore. Thank you guys for being here. I hope the meeting was not too much for you guys. I would also like to thank the staff for their hard work and their dedication in getting all of this prepared. And I would also like to thank all of you, the owners, Mr. Maraj, the owners of Tateco Port of Spain Credit Union, for being here and having a very interactive meeting. Right, we take your points. We know that there are a lot of things still in store, what we have to do, and I assure you that we have already put things in place to do just that. So on behalf of the executive and the board of directors, again, I want to say thank you for being here. Can we all stand while we say the closing prayer? Right, it is in your brochure if you do not know it. I'd also like to thank the persons who were online, right, for their attendance. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, love as to love. But it is in giving that we receive, in dying that we are pardoned, as in dying that we are born to eternal life. All right, thank you all very much again. We have some refreshments, so please do not leave before you have some. No, Mr.